much every video, but there's a ton of stuff going on. Even though this video is mostly about the new double 1,200 gallon builds, I think at times I've called them 1,000, 1,500, but it looks like they're settling out at 1,200 gallons each tank in the annex, so we're building two 1,200 gallons at the same time, as well as it's fitting that we're in front of the 3,000 gallon Predator Bay 3000 because I haven't quit working on that. I ran into a little bit of a stumbling block, but I have a solution, and I'm going to show you that in this video. Oh, also, too, we'll catch up with the 220 Discus. We'll check on that trash can filter, see how that's going, and who knows, maybe I'll even show you what's in that box behind me. Let's, as always, jump right in. Let's go. So the framing is in place for the base for the first 1,500 gallon middle annex aquarium. We know we have one here, and then we have one over to the right, and then of course big 4,500 behind us. I just wanted to show you this framing for a couple reasons. One, I'm getting ready to cover it up with the base, with the floor of the aquarium, so now's the time to film it if I'm going to film it, right? And two is you're going to see, like, this is not my normal framing. It's a little different, and I just want to let you know that the only reason I did that is purely because I had a bunch of scrap lumber that I'm trying to get rid of. So this one over here, I'll show you the framing for this one, and you'll see that it'll be quite a bit different. It'll be what I call my normal method. But here, like I said, I wanted to get rid of a bunch of cutoffs that I had. And if you sort of look outside there, that big pile, you can see a big empty spot over there. I got rid of a lot of it, which is good, down to just those little pieces there. So always important to, especially these days with the cost of everything, get the maximum value out of every piece of lumber. But so that is the frame, and it is ready for 2 layers of subfloor. Again, we're also working, we have all these cutoffs from the 4,500 gallon. So this is the subfloor. This is not the part that's going to be in contact with anything other than the wood that's on top of it, and that is this wood over here, which is much better suited because of the grain of the wood and the type of the wood, because it's plies versus compressed. The compressed wood is excellent for underlayment, and the plied wood is excellent for receiving fiberglass and epoxy and all that good stuff. So this is the coat, or this is the piece that goes over top of that. So we have the underlayment on the framing, and then the top layment on top of the underlayment. So let me get to getting that in place, and of course also I'll start framing up the other aquarium as well. So I almost forgot, I was just sort of showing you guys I was using up all of the cutoff wood, and I was finished with using up all the cutoff wood, but I wasn't finished with putting all the supports in. Those were 20-inch gaps. You would never have a span that large. So these are actually 10-inch gaps now. So normally they would be 12s, but again, like I said, I was using all the cutoffs, so this one's a little different. You can see the middle parts are doubled up. That's what makes it different to use all the side cutoffs. But yeah, so these are 10-inch gaps in between the the joists there. So just want to make sure I covered that. I would hate for somebody to look at that and say, oh, okay, I can have a big gap like that. You absolutely could not. That would be a nightmare. So here we go. All right, so I have not given up on the 3,000 gallon, but I have run into an impediment. So climbing in there and going bucket by bucket with rocks and wood and sand, you can see everything in there, is a royal pain in the butt, and was kicking my butt. So I thought to myself, maybe this is a time I should use a little less muscle and a little more brain power. And I said, there's got to be a better way to get these thousands and thousands of pounds of mucky sand and different sized gravel out of here. And I did a little looking online, and sure enough, there is a solution. It is called a trash pump. And what it is a giant pump that can send anything that fits through this tube, through this opening, up to 2 inches out and into the wherever I'm going to direct it to. So I got a big 50-foot hose. I got a big trash pump. And I thought to myself, you know what, with all my deep tanks and everything, anytime I want to reset one, this thing's going to come in handy. And it actually wasn't a bad price either, so this is going to be a good pickup for me. So what I have to do now is just go through here and get out any rocks that can't pass through this tube opening. And it can pass through, it's a 2-inch tube, but it can pass rocks up to about 1 inch. So, you know, I can see a few in the back there, but that's a lot easier. So I can take a couple buckets in there with me, and I can fill it up with any of the big rocks, and then any of this smaller stuff here, this pea gravel to the 3/4 inch stuff, that'll go right through there, and we'll just suck it right out. So I'll just bring a hose in there with me, the trash pump, and I'll start pumping water in and pumping all this muck out. So that is hopefully what you'll see in the next video is the results of doing just that. Again, more bucket full of stuff. If you, you'll know when you see it. If you see a black bottom, pond armor bottom without all this muck, then you'll know it went well. And if that is the case, then you know we're going to be well on our way to getting the 3,000 gallon rocking and rolling, because this is by far the hardest part. So that's the current status on the 3,000 gallon, and hopefully in the next video I have really good news for you that we got a cleaned out tank, and who knows, if it progresses well enough, I'll be in there drilling more drain holes and changing the lighting and doing all that good stuff. But for now, let's I just want to get all this sand and rock and gravel out of there, and hopefully the trash pump is going to be the magic bullet that helps me get that done without breaking my back, because doing it by hand, no bueno. So I want to touch on a couple of the comments from the latest video on the Discus aquarium where we're adding to the filtration. So let's start up with the aquarium itself up top. Remember a ways back I planted 5 or 6 of these swords. They didn't actually have the swords I wanted. They sent these. Only one really took off, so we don't really have the vertical vegetation that I really want in this aquarium. So somebody pointed that out, that hey, it looks good, but I wish there was some more vertical vegetation that looked as good as what's going on in the substrate there. And I agree. So that is one of the things we're going to want to have to correct with the aquarium. So, and then the other one was, someone pointed out that they have the same Rubbermaid container, and they said it flexes out quite a bit, and it really does. So in my case, it's jammed in there so tight between the wall and this part of the filter that it can't really go anywhere. But definitely you would have to brace this. And I have another one that I'm going to be adding to the 750 gallon, and so we'll do that. We'll build a bracing system for it. I also want to cover it up too, because it's not very attractive. So this aquarium is going to have a whole facade that covers this front, so that's not a problem. But where the 750 is, it's kind of on the side of the tank. So I'm going to want to build a brace for it, and have that also be have like skin to make it attractive, to sort of match up with the skin that's going to go on the tank. And so far, just after a week or so, the plants that are moved over, they are doing good. We got new leaves, we got big glossy leaves and everything, so new growth. So yeah, so far so good for the settling chamber and for the vegetable filter. Well, and the 220 altogether with the beautiful Discus. So as we saw, we have all the supports in, and now it's time to put down the underlayment, or the first layer of the floor. So basically, I have the construction adhesive, so I'll run that on all the boards underneath of this here, and then screw it down. And this is the 1/2 inch press board. Now I was going to do the 1/2 inch ply over top, but when I went to get more, they had 3/4 inch boards for only $6 more a sheet. So it's actually going to be a 1/2 inch underlayment, and then 3/4 inch on top of that. So yeah, we got an extra 1/4 inch of strength on it for $12, so it seemed like it was worth it. But yeah, I'm gonna get the floor down, and then we can start building up the walls and the frame. And sorry, I get distracted by those guys. And then of course get started on this tank over here and get it to the same point that we take this one to. And of course, the box is a bunch of food. So I generally have 3 different types of food sources. So I have the frozen food for the marine fish, which I'm always on the hunt for the big sales at BRS and different places. And I get that in bulk, try to buy it twice a year. The larger cichlids, like in the 4,500 gallon, they eat the big monster food pellets. And then of course, this is for the freshwater, smaller fish, bunch of different flakes and small pellets, and of various types. So mostly Northfin and Extreme, but I do bounce around between a few different other ones. And I do use a few other ones as well. I use Ocean Nutrition, and I use Cobalt. So a lot of good foods out there, but these are some of my favorites. So getting all restocked up so these guys don't go hungry. Just coming in to start working on the double 1,200 gallon bills, and I'm noticing the riverbank is growing in nicely. And I just wanted to show you, this is exactly what I was hoping for. See how it's growing forward towards the lights there? That's going to create that awesome canopy where the plants are growing out over the water, and then the light's going to give you that nice filtered look through there. But yeah, a bunch of these new plants kicking off new leaves everywhere, growing out and over, looking awesome. This riverbank is going to be so sweet when it completely fills up that whole space. So basically, all you're going to see from tank to ceiling is going to be plants, and it's going to be growing forward towards you when you're watching the tank. Like here's a great example. This guy is really spread out and growing up, just looking awesome. The new plants right at home, awesome. Oh man, that is a wild looking leaf. Very, very cool. That's just sitting on top of the dock over there. But yeah, happy to see all the positive progress on the 4,500 gallon. So we saw the trash can filter is doing good, but more importantly, the aquarium is doing good. The 220 gallon Discus is kicking butt. We did the water change, we augmented the filter, and I'm happy to say that the cleaning crew has been doing a great job. There's not a single bit of algae that's grown back. They've pretty much polished off everything. So as you can see, it is looking awesome. In fact, it's kind of made it look a little bit bare, you know, without the algae there. So we need to beef up the plant game in here. I haven't had a chance to get to that yet, but I will be. So there will be some more vertical plants in here, or maybe even, I was thinking maybe tying some plants off on the wood root. I don't feel like I want to pull any of that wood root out, but I also don't want to overcrowd it with, like, say, a big huge sword or something, leaves mixing in with all that wood root. I want to leave plenty of space for these guys. So I don't know. What do you guys think on that? We want to get some vertical plants. Should I just do something in the back? I mean, I don't know. I haven't decided, and obviously you guys give a lot of good perspective, so throwing it out there. You know, if you got any good ideas for some tall plants that aren't gonna block all the swim space, you know, that fit in with this, you know, pretty much Amazonian feel for this aquarium, I would appreciate it. Okay, so we're making progress on the double 1,200 gallon builds. I think at different times I've called them 1,000, 1,500, all different things, but they're absolutely going to be 1,200 gallons. So two 1,200 gallons, 10 by 4 by 4 is the final dimensions of the aquariums. Like I said, we're making progress, but unfortunately it's still snowing and really cold outside, so I had to move the tools inside. I would prefer to do all the cuts and the mess outside, but it's dark when I get off work, and it's freezing cold and everything, so we moved it in. Good news is I'm all stocked up with wood, so I can start really cranking from here. The downside is I got to sweep up a bunch of sawdust and try to keep it out at the 4,500. But let me take you around and show you the progress so far and the next steps. So the funny thing, now that I'm working in here on the 1,200 gallon, these guys just follow me. If I'm over here cutting stuff, they're over here. If I go all the way down there and start working on this 1,200 gallon, they follow me down there. It's kind of funny. I mean, I know they're thinking they're going to get fed, but it's still funny watching them go back and forth. So like I said, I had to move the tools inside. But here we are with the first 1,200 gallon build. So the entire tank is 10 feet long, but you can see here we've got a divider because this is basically going to be a smaller version of the 4,500 essentially. So this is our wetland filter over here. This is our aquarium, so a little about 8.5 foot long aquarium by 4 by 4. And you can see also too the framing. Just started building the bottom framing, but one thing you'll notice is in the back we have 2 by 4s, and in the front we have 2 by 6, and that's because we're going to build it up just like the 4,500, where the glass actually starts 1 foot off the bottom. So it's actually 36 inches of glass, just like on the 4,500. So we build up 12 inches with the 2 by 6s, and then we start framing with 2 by 4s, and that gives us our nice window, and our glass will start, up here somewhere. And again, that gives us our nice framed-in window once we do the same thing we did over there, which is with the 2 by 4s. So right now, what's going to happen is I'm going to finish creating all the bottom areas. In the front, it'll be built up, like I said. In the back, it'll go 2 layers high just to overlap all of the corners, and then I'll just start framing it up. And then I'll also be framing up the middle partition, basically just like we did over there in the big wetland. And then of course, this is a double annex, a double 1,200 build. So I still need to reshape the base of this and basically do everything I did over here, repeat over here. I actually think I might lean more towards building this tank out first and have this one trail it as opposed to trying to do everything exactly at the same time. That gives me more flexibility. And one other thing I want to point out is that the wood prices were crazy, and I was going to use the 1/2 inch, but I found some decent 3/4 inch wood, which I've got on here. So I've actually got 3/4 over 1/2 inch. So the floor is actually nice and strong. And I'm going to be doing the same thing over on the other build here, because that 1/2 inch layer is the leftover cuts from the 4500. And I only had one sheet of the good 1/2 inch, so no big deal to go ahead and hold that for another project. And just go with the 3/4 inch. And I'm going to go with the 3/4 inch all the way on the inside too. So I like to overbuild everything, so you know, I'll fiberglass the whole thing. It'll be framed at 3/4 inch, so it's gonna be a beast. And well, it's gonna be two beasts. Okay, so that's the update on the double 1,200 gallon builds for right now, but I have all the wood on site and I've moved all the tools in here, so I'm not, you know, bothered by the snow or 20-degree temperatures anymore. I can just get it done inside. So I expect the pace of these builds to crank up and get some serious progress for the next video, as well as, you know, if that trash pump does what I expect it to do, then we're gonna get the 3000 cleaned out. And I'm gonna be bouncing back and forth because there's a ton of stuff we're doing over there, and I can't wait to get Predator Bay 3000 running. I want to get these running too, but Predator Bay 3000's got a soft spot in my heart. I've been that was originally going to be a Marine Predator tank, but at the last minute I switched it to cichlid, so it's come all the way around. We know we have a lot of plumbing work to do there, lighting, and that massive refugium sump we're gonna build. With new chambers and everything, just all kinds of stuff going on there. So excited for all of that. The grow outs for the 4,500 gallon, they're looking good. Everyone's putting on some serious size. Can't wait to get them in there. As you saw in this video, the plants are doing awesome in the 4,500 gallon. And I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I have a cleanup crew. When I say cleanup, again, you know, eating the leftover foods from the big messy eaters, coming in from kind of an unusual source. I sourced them from an aquaponics farm. They use them there to maintain systems, and then they sell them over time when they get larger. And that's what I needed, was some larger ones that won't get eaten by these guys. So they've taken the order. They haven't shipped yet, but hopefully it's just a matter of time. It's the first time ordering for these guys, so I don't know what to expect. But it's been a week, and I haven't got the fish yet, but they say it's in progress. So, you know, I'll give it some time. You know, with the snow and cold, maybe they're holding back shipping, which is fine. There's no hurry. We want the fish to be safe. And one other thing I was going to say is that what I've been doing is setting up my camera and filming about an hour's worth of video of individual tanks with me not there, so that I can see what the fish act like in their sort of natural actions, without me standing in front of the tank, you know, so they act like they're going to get fed and everything. So what I'm going to do is I've got these hours worth of video, and I periodically go down there and position the camera in some different angles and everything, so we get some different views. But then I go away, so the fish act naturally. And I'm going to cut that hour's worth of film down to, like, say, the best 8 or 10 minutes, you know, give it a little background ambiance type music. You know, little to no speaking for me. I was thinking maybe just introduce the tank at the beginning, then let it go, and then maybe just put some stuff on screen periodically, just with describing, you know, what the tank setup is. You know, just for anyone who's not used or hasn't followed along with the tank, they'll know what they're looking at. But basically, just something chill, just to see how the fish act. And again, that won't be in place of the vlog style videos. That'll be in addition. So I'll just slip those out in between. I think it'll be interesting, and I want to do that once a year for each tank, for me to keep, and I like to see the progress of the tanks over time. You know, your memory fades after a while, so it's nice to see, you know, what was this tank like 1 year ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, you know, because for me, I'm about the ecosystems. I want all these tanks to run for the next 20 years. So I want to, you know, film all of that, you know, each year, so that I can, you know, remember, you know, the progress, because I'll, you know, without the video over time, you lose that. So it'd be cool to keep those videos coming out every year, so they can go back and see the progress. All right, so I'm going to get back to work, but I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.